Good morning, everybody. As many of you have reported, this morning at 3 a.m., Spirit Airlines ceased operations. So what that means is Spirit does not have airplanes in the air flying as of this morning. Also, their call centers are closed and they don't have staff at ticket counters. So if you have a flight scheduled with Spirit Airlines, don't show up at the airport. There will be no one here to assist you. What Spirit Airlines is now going to do is go through an orderly liquidation process. We'll see how that develops over the course of the next several days. But for customers of Spirit, I want to give information on how you can navigate this situation that you now find yourself in. And President Trump, Administrator Bedford, and I have been working with the other airlines across the industry in anticipation that this morning may happen. And so if you're a customer, many of the airlines that are not Spirit are stepping up to provide you assistance. So United, Delta, JetBlue, and Southwest are capping their ticket prices for Spirit customers. It's going to vary between the airlines. You have to go to their websites to take advantage of these special offers. It is normally going to be about $200 for a one-way ticket. You'll minimally have to provide to the airlines that you're now going to book with your Spirit confirmation number and your proof of payment. I would recommend that if you have a ticket with Spirit, that you actually try to book with these airlines as soon as possible. These offers are not going to be open forever, and the airlines are going to have varying degrees of time frames at which you can take advantage of the opportunity. Again, go to the airlines' websites. For customers who are concerned about higher prices because of the announcement today from Spirit, American Airlines and Delta Airlines are offering across the board reduced fares on high-volume Spirit routes. Allegiant is stepping up. They've also committed to freezing fare prices on routes that they have shared with Spirit Airlines. And Frontier is offering a 50% off base fares across the network until May 10th. So again, this is the airline industry stepping up and trying to provide relief as Spirit is going to go through this liquidation. If you bought a ticket with Spirit Airlines, they have a reserve fund. You will be refunded to your original form of payment if you bought directly from Spirit. If you purchased from a third-party vendor, say a travel agent, you're going to have to reach out to that travel agent and request that they secure a refund for you. The President specifically has been very concerned, as well as I and Administrator Bedford, about the employees of Spirit. And we're concerned about could they be stranded in certain destinations. So most U.S. carriers are extending travel pass benefits. So that's maybe a spare jump seat or spare seats for any Spirit employees who need to travel back to their homes. That's for pilots and flight attendants and other employees. They've also offered Spirit team members preferential employment interviews. So again, there's a demand for aviation workers. So even American and United have drafted or crafted microsites for Spirit employees to potentially jump the queue, and get preferential treatment in the application process for the many airlines that are now hiring, whether it's pilots, flight attendants, baggage workers, or even those who've worked in the call centers. You can go to the individual websites to see what's offered by each of the individual airlines. I'll take your questions in a second. But I think it's important to talk about why are we here today. There was a proposed merger between JetBlue and Spirit. And Joe Biden and Pete Buttigieg, along with the Biden DOJ, decided that they did not want that merger to take place. And at the time, the Biden and Buttigieg DOJ bragged and said, as they canceled the option for this merger, that this was a victory for U.S. travelers who deserve lower prices and better choices. Now, many at the time said this was a disaster. This merger should have been allowed. And this today would indicate this is not better for travelers, this is not better for pricing, this is not better for competition. Actually, it's worse. We had an airline go down because the markets were trying to allow two airlines to merge, make them stronger, and offer more competition for the American consumer. Also, Elizabeth Warren at the time cheered the blocking of the merger, saying that this was a Biden win for flyers. So again, I think it's important that we always look with a keen eye when airlines want to merge. We care about pricing for consumers. We care about competition. But if the markets are saying there needs to be a merger because there's health issues with one of the airlines or more than one airline, we have to take a look at it and make sure we make the right choices. And in this situation, history has judged the denial of the merger between JetBlue and Spirit through the Biden administration with, I think, a view that it was a massive mistake. So we have been engaged again with the airlines for the last several days as we saw the potential of this wind down happening. And again, I want to thank the airlines in America for stepping up. The biggest airlines, the low-cost carriers, taking care of employees, taking care of customers, making sure that prices remain affordable, but also those travelers who could be stranded can actually get home. With that, happy to take any of your questions. Yes?
The president said yesterday that a deal was possible, but only if it was a good deal. Obviously, that didn't happen yesterday in the overnight hours. Can you talk about where the breakdown was? What was the sticking point? What was the tension?
Yeah, so the question is about the president yesterday said there's a potential for a deal, but it had to be a good deal. There was a number of ideas being floated on how the government could step in and be helpful to Spirit Airlines. The president was like a dog on a bone, trying to figure out a way to keep Spirit afloat. He was concerned about the employees of Spirit. I was in the Oval many times hearing him talk about the employees and the customers. In the end, this was a creditor issue. Again, they have the final say of whether they want to do a deal with the government. But also from the government's perspective, we oftentimes don't have $500 million laying around in a spare account that we can put into a bailout of an airline. So there was creative thinking on how it could happen. Those two things never materialized. There was a significant effort by President Trump and the administration to make it happen, but in the end, a deal couldn't be reached, and so here we are today.
You also brought up the floated merger between JetBlue and Spirit Airlines. Spirit Airlines isn't the only budget airline that's dealing with some of the same issues, rising fuel costs due to war. Do you foresee a chance where we could be staring down this same type of shutdown with other airlines as this war continues?
Yeah, so the question is, and I know you don't have a microphone, Spirit's not the only one who's having financial issues right now. There could be more. I would just point this out. Once the merger was denied in 2024, Spirit filed for bankruptcy immediately after the denial. And then last August, Spirit again filed for bankruptcy. So Spirit was in dire straits long before the war with Iran. Multiple times they had filed for bankruptcy. Their model wasn't working. They couldn't get to fiscal health. So this was not the impetus. The war was not the impetus for Spirit. Now you've heard that other airlines have talked about requesting a $2.5 billion bailout. I am in continual contact, and my team is in contact with all the CEOs of the airlines. I would say that at this point, I don't think it's necessary. They do have access to cash. If they want to come to the U.S. government, we would be a lender of last resort. If they can find dollars in the private markets, I think that's better for them. If there was a need across the low-cost carriers who had made this request, again, there's not $2.5 billion that sit around in Congress that the executive branch can fund a bailout for those airlines. That would have to be a conversation that does happen with Congress, and there would have to be a real need. And so sometimes what can happen is when there's a conversation about Spirit Airlines and a potential a bailout, if you will, what other airlines see as an opportunity. Is this an opportunity for us to get money as well to help our airline out? Not necessarily based on need, but based on opportunity, and I think that's what was happening when the low-cost carriers put out a request for $2.5 billion. Anybody else? Yes.
Is there a concern long-term about fares? I know they're capped now in the kind of emergency situation of people getting where they need to be, but with the loss of Spirit and the low-cost options, potentially down the road, costs rise for travel.
Yeah, the question is there a concern about low-cost carriers and competition and pricing? And we keep our eye on fares and on competition. But I think this is a great example that, again, by keeping an airline that wasn't healthy from a merger, it doesn't make the industry stronger. It created problems in the aviation industry. I want a lot of airlines. I want a lot of healthy airlines. I want the more premium airlines, but I also want a healthy a group of low-cost carriers. And that's going to, I think, give the American people different options, different prices to travel across the country. And so do I think what Spirit announced today is going to impact that? I don't. Are there some financial issues with some of the low-cost carriers? Yes, but they have access to capital, and many of them are well-run businesses. And I think that because the industry has become so competitive, a lot of the larger carriers have stepped up with really good offers with maybe better service. And so we're going to see a shakeout that happens. But again, we want options for the American traveler. We want competition, which means better pricing for the American consumer. Yes?
Is funding for the ticket holders and compensation fund, will be sufficient to make everyone?
Yeah, so the question is about the fund for ticket holders. That was held in reserve by Spirit Airlines. So if you bought a ticket and hadn't flown that ticket yet, the dollars that you used to buy the ticket, those are held in reserve by Spirit Airlines. And so that money is there, and so refunds will flow to the original form of payment for those who had booked a ticket. So yeah, we feel very comfortable that you will get a refund for the portion of the flight that you didn't fly. But again, you have an opportunity. Some are for 5 days, some are for a couple weeks. With other airlines, we're going to offer you a special deal, special pricing. Because again, the problem is, if any of us go online and try to book a ticket for today or tomorrow, those prices are pretty high, right? You get better pricing the further out you book. Well, if you're a Spirit passenger, well, you have an airline that ceased operations, so you have to book a ticket in the next day or two. And so the other airlines are responding to that by providing beneficial booking opportunities and pricing opportunities. But again, you have to do it sooner rather than later. Have your confirmation number ready and your proof of payment, and the airlines will step up and give you better pricing to travel the final legs of your ticket so you can get home. Anybody else? I'll just leave you guys with one last point, is that this department, this administration, was not surprised by what happened today. We were aware of all of the options and potential decisions that Spirit was going to make. We have prepared, and again, the other carriers, I had a number of conversations with the CEOs in anticipation that this could happen this morning. And I'm grateful that all of them didn't look for an opportunity to gouge passengers, to take advantage of this situation. You actually saw the exact opposite. You saw airlines step up and say, no, actually, as we're all Americans, those who fly on Spirit are American citizens as well. We're going to lean in and try to help out in a difficult time. And I'm proud that we have airlines that do that because it's our brothers and sisters who might find themselves in a challenging travel situation today, a family that might be in a location. And so I want to thank the airlines for their advanced work that today happened. I want to thank the president and his team for looking at every option that was available to him to allow a bailout for Spirit. But in the end, I think after today, we are going to see a stronger competitive market in our airline industry, and we're going to continue to look at pricing. We're going to continue to look at our energy supply, our jet fuel supply, and as we look forward, we're going to try to make the best decisions. Again, I think this was a bad decision by the Biden administration, by not allowing the merger with JetBlue. We will try to make smart decisions that always drive competition, that take care of customers, and make sure we as Americans have the best service and the best pricing in the aviation sector. With that, thank you for coming out. God bless.